Hello, girls, guys, or otherwise. This is Rich, and welcome to Witchy Wednesday. Today, I wanted to do a video response to Cara, aka Cute Witch 772, and their video on the Salem Witch Trial Memorial that is kind of like blowing up the internet. I've seen this in a couple spots. It has actually been up for a couple years now, and I'm going to try to make this video super short, or as short as I possibly can, because it is actually chilly in my witchy room right now, and I really don't like being this chilly. So anyway, I could probably, put this blanket on me. You guys can't see it, but anyway. Um, Now, I do encourage, and I'm going to link in the description below, Cara's video. If you have not watched that, I definitely suggest watching that, because it is a very thorough video on different witch trial memorials that are out there. I actually learned a lot of history from watching that video, and I love history. So, yeah, I definitely suggest going to watch that video, and leave a comment on her channel. If you have not subscribed to her, definitely do so. Do yourself a service and subscribe to Cara. Again, that's Cute Witch 772. Link will be below for that specific video. Now, what I want to address particularly is not something that's I'm not necessarily in contradiction to her, but it made me think of something, and I'm able to share because it's a springboard of sorts for me to share this. And yeah, I think it'd be fun to share for a Witchy Wednesday, and whether or not we have this spiritual connection to the Salem witch trials. Because in their video, and I'm trying to be very cognizant of the pronouns that I use, because Cara does go by they, there. So, and I know that if I slip up, Cara's going to forgive me because they have before. And I'm trying to correct myself, and it's something that I'm trying to be cognizant of, not only with friends of mine, but also to the broader community. That is one reason I have changed my my intro to, hey girls, guys, or otherwise, rather than saying hey guys like I used to. And in some of my videos that I'm going to be posting for Sims Let's Play and Let's Builds and whatnot, I do say hey guys in that. And yeah, I wanted to address that. Eventually that channel will be coming out once I get a chance to edit those videos down. But anyway, we're not talking about that right now. In the meantime, before I go any further here, even though it's like, 3 minutes in, yeah, go down into the nether regions, hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button if you have not already done that, and always leave a comment. I love reading comments. I don't always get to them, but I do read them all. So I actually have some that I need to reply to that I think are, just courteous to reply to. Anyway, Cara has said in this video that they do not feel a particular spiritual connection to the Salem witch trials, because the people who were convicted and either convicted, imprisoned, and subsequently hung or pressed, and in some countries, burned at the stake, and all the other atrocities that come along with the witchcraft trials, they do not feel a connection to those individuals because of the fact that most of them were not actually practicing witches. And this got me thinking that, I've never really felt a real connection to the Salem witch trials, except I actually do have an ancestral connection. So I am from the John Hayden lineage. My last name is not Hayden, but I am a descendant of John Hayden. Back in the 1700s, I believe it was. He was my fifth great grandfather, and I have this written down on my notes here, so that's why I'm looking down. He went from the eastern parts of Pennsylvania, like New Jersey and Pennsylvania area, to the western part of Pennsylvania, and he found iron ore there. He basically uh, made Pittsburgh the steel mill capital of the world, up until like what, the 90s. I think they're still going, but not nearly as strong with the steel mills as they are now, or as they have been. So I am a descendant of John Hayden, and his grandmother was Priscilla Webb, whose mother was Ruth Bass, um, who was, let's see, whose mother was Ruth Alden. Now, Ruth Alden was the sister of John Alden Jr., John Alden Sr., and Priscilla Mullins, who came over on the Mayflower. Um, they had a son named John Alden Jr. So he would be my ninth great grand uncle. And so Uncle John, as I'm going to refer to him, Uncle John was accused and convicted, and I actually have an artist rendering right there. Uh, John Alden Jr. was accused and convicted during the Salem witchcraft trials in 1692. And apparently, since there was no room at the prison, they sent him to Boston to be in prison there. But he was able to, with help of a few of his friends and whatnot, I believe it is the accounts that I've read, was able to break out of prison, and he fled to New York, where he sought the safety of friends and family members there. Um, yeah, he basically was broken out and fled during the dead of night on horseback. And then after a few days, like after his escape, a few days later, Giles Corey was the one individual that was pressed to death during the Salem witchcraft trials. And knowing how close a family member of mine was to actually being put to death, it's a little bit makes it personal. It's very far removed. Ninth great granduncle. It's like my second cousin twice removed. Ex-wife on her mother's side. That type of thing. That gets crazy. Um, it's a roundabout way of having this ancestral tie to the witchcraft trials and some of the atrocities that happened in our as Americans, and even Europeans, and even some other areas of today, that we really should shed a little bit more light on. Um, and if you can see back here, that's Jelly trying to play with the other cat, Karen. Um, so, it's kind of this ancestral tie to something that was very serious that kind of gets glossed over um, in history class as something that just happened, one time in history, and now it's done, and we're too evolved as human beings to ever think that something like that could happen again. And then I start thinking, okay, you had the satanic panic of the 80s and the 90s, and you have people who are part of QAnon who think that there's some satanic cabal out there drinking blood of babies and whatnot. And it kind of puts me on edge knowing that this right here is supposed to be ancient history, according to us, and our spans of what is ancient and not here in the US. But this is very much still kind of going on. It may not get as serious as people being put to death, or pressed to death, or hung, or set on fire, or thrown in a river to see if they float or not. But it is still very much an issue that pagans and witches do deal with, especially whenever you have people out there saying that there's this satanic cabal out there. You okay, Jelly? Jelly sneezing, everybody. Everybody say bless you, Jelly. Bless you, Jelly. Okay. Anyway, so I kind of feel a connection to these individuals because my ancestral lineage, but I also see a sort of toned down, um, you know, parallel to our current day and age where we are demonizing people of a certain political party because, you know, they might be part of a satanic cabal type thing. It's insanity. And people have spent 20, 30 years in prison because of a child abuse scandal that has never happened. And this is back in the as far back as the 80s, um, with the satanic panic that people have just gotten out of jail recently. I can't remember the exact case, and I was it the McMartin preschool case, I think, where people believed these children and some of the fantastical stories that they were telling. And it's like, how could you ever believe that? Because people started to get caught up in this, you know, this panic of, the satanic, pedophile thing that's going on. And in reality, it never happened. And seeing the clear parallels between something like this happening, where somebody accuses an adult of something that is very serious, at least in their time. Witchcraft was taken as very serious. But it's kind of evolved into now something just as serious in today's culture as child abuse. And I kind of see a parallel here. And maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe I'm a little far off here. But that is very much a thing that I'm seeing here with, something like this and something of, sorry for hitting mic there, and something of the 80s, 90s, and even into today's time when people are going into pizza parlors demanding to go into a basement of Comet Pizza, wanting to, make sure that there's no trafficking, sex trafficking going on whenever the place itself does not have a basement. So, I mean, maybe I'm reading too much into this. Maybe I'm, blowing some of this out of proportion. Um, but maybe I'm also hitting the mark on the head. At a certain point, we need to calm down and look at things rationally. And for one, definitely don't get me wrong, definitely take any accusation of, any abuse. Take it seriously, please. Take it seriously. But also investigate it with a clear mind and no bias. And I think that is something that's drastically lacking in our society today whenever you have so many people that are willing to get behind these conspiracy theories, which are just that, conspiracy theories about something so serious. So, yeah, I, that was my roundabout way to get onto a political rant during a Witchy Wednesday video about the Salem witch trials and my connection to the Salem witch trials, and yeah, and how it kind of correlates to today. Now, Cara did say that they feel a connection uh, somewhat because, and I want to make sure that I'm accurately representing Cara's viewpoints here, and if I'm wrong, please, Cara, I'm gonna tell you that I VR'd this, so hopefully you'll come and watch and comment on this, but I want to get this correct. They do feel a connection in the fact that these individuals were prosecuted and, just as accurately persecuted, because of their beliefs, or what was supposed as their beliefs being. Let me get that straight. So what people thought these individuals were doing, that's what they were being judged on. And I just noticed I had something right there. Anyway, there we go. So, they were thought to have these beliefs, and they didn't, whereas we do hold these beliefs, and we could have been persecuted or prosecuted and put to death. So Cara does feel a connection in that way, but does not necessarily feel a spiritual connection to them, because they were not in fact witches. So I think I accurately represented Cara's point of view. If I had a little bit more time, a little bit more prepped on this, I would have probably put Cara's video here as well to play that part of it. It's around the 26-minute mark, but I do encourage you, please watch the entire video, because it is very interesting. They did a lot of research into witchcraft memorials that have been either installed by one nation or another, or installed by individuals who we don't know who installed it, and also the ones in Salem. So I do encourage you to go and watch their channel. Like I said, I will leave a link below in the nether regions right here, so go and watch that. But yeah, I thought this was just an interesting topic that Cara brought up in their video, and I wanted to kind of share my connection to it, and I kind of just got a little rambling on what parallels might be in today's society from then. Anyway, so I'm done rambling. I kept it under 20 minutes. I'm proud of myself for my little spiel here. Join me tomorrow for Table Talk Thursday, where we will be picking a topic from our Table Topics Cube. And join me on Saturday for a Witchy Book Club series, Intertemple Witchcraft, Chapter 12. And join me on Christo-Paganism Sunday, where we are talking about the parable of the sowers. So, yes, from Matthew 13. So join me then, and then again on Tuesday for the Nine of Swords. Yes. So yeah, join me on those days, 5 days a week. I'm making these videos. I'm gonna make this thing work. I'm gonna power through and do them. And if you have any suggestions for Witchy Wednesday videos, or the Christo-Paganism Sunday, I was about to say Pagan Perspective, Christo-Paganism Sunday, or the Witchy Wednesday videos, go ahead and put them in the comment section below. Like I said, I do read the comments. I might not always respond, but I do read them. So yeah, with all that being said, I'm gonna sign off, and I wish you love, hugs, and ladybugs. Bye-bye.